Anthony, let us talk about the 10 wrestlers who should have been WWE World Champion.
Okay then.
At some point in life.
Let's fucking do it.
At some point in life. It's a wide array. We've got old school, new school, back to school.
I feel like you proposed. I wanted to do like 10 who should never have been world champion, and then you're like,
that's me. No, that's me.
Well, exactly. You're trying to make me be a positive guy.
I know it's tough for you, but go on, try your best with number 10.
Okay, number 10, Carl. Right. I think this one. I'm expecting maybe a little bit of debate from you here.
Go on.
Because technically speaking, he has held that belt,
but he hasn't though.
This is the thing.
So for the audio listeners,
the audio listeners, my first pick is Ted DiBiase.
Okay.
Now I've gone with Ted DiBiase because from a character standpoint, from a old school, is it old school, golden age,
golden era.
Bad guy standpoint, he should have had the chance. He should have had a run with the belt.
He should have.
It just makes sense. Now we kind of got a little bit around that. That's how the $1 million belt came about.
So he bought the belt. He bought it off.
But it's so in keeping with his character as well, and they should have rolled with that. But it was never acknowledged.
Do you know what though? They should have rolled with it, but they didn't. So technically, if you look at the record books, he's not being a WWE champion. Yeah. Even though
that source of debates right there are going, well, technically he did, right? Because he bought it. But this is where I thought, you know what? Let's remove the debatable elements and say, this guy should have had a run with that belt.
He should have. If it wasn't for you, Jack Tunney, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But now, at the end of the day, you want like a super heel. You know what I mean? Like he's the $1 million man. He could buy you if he wanted to. Imagine him having the top strap and all the top guys could chase him for it. You know what I mean? It just would have made perfect sense. Yeah. But for whatever reason, he didn't get it, and instead he has to have the $1 million belt, which was kind of cool.
The $1 million belt's kind of cool, and they could have done that, but still,
it's kind of like The Rock walking out though with his belt at the minute, innit? And it's like, well,
like cosplaying.
Yeah, so it didn't really do an awful lot for him.
No, I'll take your point on that, which is mad because they did bring the $1 million belt back for a bit. If you remember, they put it on Cameron Grimes.
Oh yeah,
and then LA Knight took it, and then no one wanted it. I don't know. That was weird.
That was weird.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway,
so yeah. He should have been champ.
Should have been.
The record books dictate he was not.
Yes, and as the record books dictate he was not, he has made this list for me.
He has indeed. Straight at number 10. In at number 9, Anthony. Austin Theory, baby.
I'm assuming that's a Photoshop.
It is a Photoshop, unfortunately. Right? Because anyone who watches or listens to this show knows my thoughts on this. He was a Money in the Bank winner. I did. Austin Theory. It's Austin Theory. ASMR Theory, right? He won the Money in the Bank.
He did.
Right? You've got to be a buffoon to not use that to cash in on one of the main titles.
Now, look, I know you fully hate that. I know you fully hate that he didn't. I actually didn't mind the idea of cashing in on a lower belt, or even his mentality around doing so. But this is where you and I disagree because, I kind of get the mentality. It's like this was the point when Roman, no one was getting near Roman. Untouchable, and I think was it Seth who had the other belts at the time?
Yeah, maybe.
And he's got a bit of a history with Seth.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know. I feel like
that would have made sense.
But it made sense to try and capitalize and go. You know what?
Protege.
He naively, and it works for him because he was a young upstart. He naively thought he'd do a better job of cashing in on the US title. It didn't fucking work out for him. Not for the cash in. He did get it eventually, but I never minded the idea. What I would mind, what I would dislike would be him getting the belt at that point. I agree with you, surprisingly, because I know you think I don't like him, but I agree with you that he's a future world champ. But at that time, that would have been a crazy thing to do.
At that time, though,
and even now would be a crazy thing to do.
Well, now because he's kind of fell off a bit, no fault of his own. At that time, he was. Is he? Didn't him and Grayson just break up off screen, and it was just like...
No, I think didn't Grayson say about him being injured and he was trying to push Grayson by himself?
No, I don't know. But right at the time, he was Vince's protege. He was getting some pretty good heel heat. I don't know what this is about.
It wasn't on camera, but you're there with your hands
Vince's protege. No, he's getting some really good heel heat, right? The fans really love to hate him, and that for me is a great way to use a cash-in, is to have a heel get the win over your babyface. And Seth Rollins at the time, I believe, was babyface. But had he made the transition from that point? From
I think that was the point when he was babyface.
Yeah. So it's like, the protege could have cashed in on him. It's baffling to me because he was Vince's handpicked guy. We saw what happened to Drew McIntyre. Maybe Theory needs to leave and come back again even more jacked to get the job done. But for me, he should have won it.
Back wearing kilts as well.
He should have won it. He should have been a champion. And yeah, it's travesty that he cashed in for the US title. And look at his career since. I'm a big fan of I'm a big fan of Austin Theory, and I liken him a lot to John Cena in the sense that if he figures out that gimmick, he's going to be a star. Cena came out, he was ruthless aggression. That was shit. He's came
just
out
like Cena, except if he had anything about him, he'd be just like Cena.
I'm explaining. Cena came out as a white meat baby face, slapping people, ruthless aggression. Didn't work for him. Nearly got sacked. Decided to do a bit of rap stuff. Kind of a little bit.
Rap,
right? No. And then eventually turn those into freestyles and like going after people, fan dress, and then look, the rest is history, right? He just needs that.
What do you think it is? What do you think he needs?
Know.
Mr. Expert, where's the X factor here?
I don't know. It could have just been having, being Vince's bitch.
Well, the selfie thing didn't work.
Well, exactly.
And Logan kind of stole it and did it better.
Yeah, but
which he definitely did it better.
He definitely did do it better. But yeah, I don't know. I've got faith in this guy, and if he is injured when he comes back, I still predict we'll see this one day.
He's not our Austin.
He's not our Austin. He's my Austin. That's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, that's number 9. In at number 8,
Mr. Kennedy.
Mr.
Nice. I think this one speaks for itself, but he was on this path. He was massively out of this path. We've actually had the privilege of speaking to Mr. Anderson, as he is now.
We have.
I nearly did a Matrix thing. Anyway,
what you're saying is, if you would have chosen the right pill.
Nice. But yeah, obviously a bit of controversy over his career here. He was. It was very interesting because it felt like he'd lost out the first time when he had the Money in the Bank and he got injured. It felt like that was like a derailment. But then he come back. Obviously, didn't have the Money in the Bank anymore. But he seemed like they were still like, no, this is the guy he come back to be in. What was it when they were doing SmackDown versus Raw? He was in Survivor Series team, I think, when he came back. And the crowd popped like fuck, and it seemed like, okay, this is still the guy. This is still the guy. And obviously we had the whole controversy with Randy, which again we've spoke to Mr. Kennedy about this, and he doesn't blame any particular individual, but obviously everyone always plays that clip where Randy lands wrong, let's say, and a lot there's a lot of belief that the controversy sort of started there, and I don't know, like he did go on to have a solid TNA run as well, so he had the chops quite clearly, and he proved it in other industries. It just seems like a really missed moment in history.
Anderson.
Missed moment in history that it never happened in WWE, or he never came back to WWE, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen ever now. But it just seems like something that should have been the case.
Ken for me is such a victim of circumstance because 100%. Like he won the Money in the Bank, got injured, have to drop it to Edge. Turns out it wasn't even that bad of an injury. He was right back. Edge just cashed in. So that happens. Obviously, it was going to be Mr. McMahon's fucking illegitimate son or something, wasn't he? That storyline stuff.
Apparently that was the whole thing with Kennedy, wasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So that was, and then that ended up being Hornswoggle or something mental because, like, obviously reasons, and then obviously the stuff with Randy, and it was just like as he said, he doesn't blame anyone for it. He should have handled things better at the time. He built himself a bit of a reputation, and obviously hindsight's a wonderful thing, innit? But for me, he was so over. We all used to do the whole Mr. thing, the microphone, and just a massive shame because obviously we spoke to him. He's a great guy, and it's a shame it never happened for him. But obviously, as you say, it happened in TNA, so at least he got that side of things. But
and you know what, this is the point in the list, isn't it? It's like should have been.
Speaking of people that should have been, Anthony, my goodness gracious me, one of my favourite wrestlers of all time, the one and only Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. Man, this guy was so good. Yeah. He was so good.
I mean, the gimmick alone was built for the world title, wasn't it?
Yeah, like it really was. Like, how can you get more perfect than being the perfect champion? You know what I mean? He's done it all. He was undefeated. He had all these undefeated streaks. Came second to, obviously, Hulk Hogan in the 91 Royal Rumble. Yeah. He was just so close, fingertips away all the time. And
But it's crazy because I think you've said this to me in the past about the booking side of things. Like, not only would it have been great for him to have a run as the perfect champion, but to ultimately, whoever does it, dethrone the perfect champion is just a thing in itself. It's a story in itself, isn't it? So,
and like you've got all these
have so much legs and it just never came off.
Well, that's it. You had Hogan, you had Warrior, you had all these, Macho Man, all these top baby faces at the time who could have been chasing Mr. Perfect. You know what I mean? Who would be the perfect champion?
Yeah,
that itself would have just sold money. But at the end of the day, you've got that many stars at the top. There's that many. They had Flair coming in at this time as well, who obviously won the '92 Rumble and got the belt, and Kurt ended up getting a few injuries and stuff and ended up doing a lot of time on the announce table. And unfortunately, after kind of 93, 94, he gone to WCW, and he just never really did reach them heights. Unfortunately, I still remember him coming back at the 2002 Rumble or whatever it was. Yeah, I was just so happy he was back, like my childhood hero. And I just wish he could have cemented it. One of the greatest Intercontinental champions of all time. The only belt I've got is that IC title that was held by him, Brett, the good one. Yeah,
the prestigious
one.
Yeah,
right. No offense, and I think I gave Dom some flack in the past. I was like, "Who's even the IC title now? It's shit." And it's like, well, actually, Dom is all right.
Dom is what the IC title is for, isn't it?
Pre-Dom, it was just like it was the afterthought, wasn't it? You know what I mean? It's like.
But it elevating Dom and Dom elevating it is exactly what that it's a workhorse belt. That's exactly what this should be for.
Well, that's it.
Other than the belt looking fucking horrible now.
Well, yeah. At least he put a bit of blue back in it, but it's still just it's just not the same.
It's not the same. And we're just being nostalgic at that point.
Well, that's it.
But it's not our belt, damn it.
No, but for me, Mr. Perfect champion should have happened, and I'm so sorry.
100%.
But
couldn't agree more.
Yeah, definitely deserves to be on this list. In at number 6.
Okay. I'm intrigued to know your thoughts on this, right?
Okay.
Because I have a particular moment in time, I think, for this as well. So for the audience, this is Wade Barrett, right? I think we can all agree.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news. He didn't get the belt.
Exactly. But I think we can all agree he had the makings of a world title champion. World champ, right? And obviously his career has been, I suppose, a little bit unexpected in a lot of senses as well. But I think perfect opportunity to put the belt on this guy was when the Nexus were just tearing up the fucking division. That's what I think it should have happened. Like, admittedly, that's like when he's probably at his greenest in terms of main roster, in terms of WWE. But it's like he could have already been then established as a former world champion at that point. Could have had multiple runs, but I think the first time it should have happened was when the Nexus were taken over as it were. Before they got buried by the old Golden Shoal. And we've gone on to see him like just excel with the gimmicks he was given. Like Bad News Barrett had the makings. Obviously. Yeah, King Barrett, but Bad News Barrett had the makings of one that it could have failed, it could have gone over, and he made it get over because it was him. You know what I mean?
I wish he was wrestling now.
Same.
When he's behind that commentary desk, I want him to just. I know I feel bad saying this because I would like to see Adam Pearce against what's his face, Nick.
Oh, Nick Aldis.
Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
I was like, Nick Khan. No, Nick Riley. No, Nick. I was like, all these Nicks, right? But I would love to see Adam Pearce versus Nick Riley. But no, Nick Aldis, right?
Wait,
Mickey James Aldis. Yeah. Okay. But what I would love to see more is Nick Aldis and Wade Barrett. For me, two Brits, two big bastard Brits. Yeah. And if there's a way to make that happen.
The mad thing is, like, Wade, I don't think there's anything stopping him from being in the ring other than he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Like, I still to this day I'm waiting for that I call it the Taz moment, where like Taz had been on commentary for ages and then he's like, actually I'm gonna beat some motherfucker, and I'm like, I'm still waiting for that when we just get up.
I thought we were gonna get it.
I love when they do moments like that where it's like, you can't just dismiss them as commentary. They know how to go.
Yeah,
I love moments like that.
I thought we might get it when Drew was going apeshit. When he was getting screwed all the time and Wade was trying to hold him back. Yeah, and I thought he was going to snap and we were going to get that match, but we never did. But
and I don't know. I still hold out hope we'll get a match, at least a match. But what we won't get is Wade Barrett as world champion, I'm afraid.
No, and you know what? I see where you're coming from with the Nexus thing, because that's when he came in and he was like destroyed the whole company and he led that faction. Yeah. For me though, I don't think he came into his own until it was like the King Barrett, the Bad News Barrett stuff. I think that's when he truly found his feet. And I'm just like, there was rumors, I think, at the time of him potentially ending the streak at WrestleMania. I mean, defeating the Undertaker. Yeah. So they were high on this guy at one point, and then for whatever reason it didn't work out. But the guy had the size, the look, he could talk, the charisma, and it just never happened. And you know, don't get me wrong, this is like the Andy Murray thing, innit? I love Drew McIntyre, but we've never had an English world champ, right? We've got a British world champ.
Yeah.
So, you know, but it's, yeah, for me, if it wasn't Bulldog,
point,
you know what I mean? This man, or maybe someone else, but yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Okay. Number 5, speaking of Scotsman.
All going to be golden age for you, aren't they?
Canadian Scotsman. Yeah. Rowdy Roddy
Canadian
Piper.
Scotsman.
You know, we spoke before about $1 Million Man being the perfect heel. Well, about being a great heel. About Mr. Perfect being the perfect heel. The biggest heel in all of wrestling when it was in its boom period was Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
You had Hogan and Roddy, WrestleMania 1. Like, he was so hated. People were trying to kill him. He had to get out the arena straight away. He was like the guy.
I actually think people forget how big a deal or how over he was at the time.
I think a lot of people.
I think he was, because everyone, like, it's like, you know, Hulk Hogan has obviously been in the media recently. Very sadly passed away.
Yeah.
But like, people always talk about the impact Hogan had on the business, because I think he transcended the business a little bit with the movies and with the stardom. He transcended the wrestling business a little bit, so he became a household name even to people who weren't wrestling fans.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of almost has the potential to overshadow Roddy a little bit in that sense. But
well, he kind of did the same, didn't he? He was a movie star with They Live and other stuff.
And I think I've always done this as like a measure of going, did The Simpsons mention him? We're big enough for that. Simpsons aren't a wrestling niche; they're pop culture niche, aren't they? Yeah. And you know, Roddy has had mentions there, and people know the name Roddy Piper. They probably don't know his career as strongly as a wrestling fan. I think that's fair to say for any wrestler, really. But I think for whatever reason, I think it's easier, especially generationally, to forget like how big a deal Roddy was. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think we're almost old men going, what about this wrestler that we used to know? And all the youngins like,
yeah. I think a lot of people seem to remember Roddy for when he turned babyface and he was like coming out with the bagpipes and everyone loved him. He was the Intercontinental Champion for a little bit. He beat Brett and had that amazing match with him at WrestleMania. People seem to remember that Piper. And like they forget what a fantastic heel he was before that, like him and Snooker with the "Do you want a coconut?" and stuff like that. Beat the shit out of him, and you know him and Hogan and Mr. T at fucking WrestleMania 2. Like he was the bad guy,
and he was like getting his ass out on late night talk shows and all sorts of stuff.
Exactly. But no, what a legend Piper was, man. He was still one of my absolute favourites. I think on the A2theK needs to have an award named after him. Is it the Roddy Piper Award for the Talker of the Year? Is it?
I think so.
So you know, the guy definitely could go on the microphone. He could go in the ring, and he was just he was an asshole, but the best asshole.
The best kind of asshole.
Yeah. Just didn't happen for him, unfortunately. But he should have definitely had that belt.
100%.
In at number 4.
Number 4, Carl is Carlito, and again, this guy, very different gimmicks, in a way, I suppose. You know, on the surface level, very different gimmicks to John Cena, but came in a very similar fashion. You know, came up, the young, arrogant one. Yep. You know, held the US title. I think he took it from John.
Won it on his debut.
Did he take it from John?
Yeah.
Obviously, John was getting propelled to the world title scene, and you expect that he's going to follow a similar path because he was a similar. He's that. I don't know. That's the best way I can explain it. And quite basically, is the young, arrogant upstart. You know, winning the US title, crowds getting behind the gimmick, and there's just something about him, and you go, okay, this guy's going to be world champ at some point. And the crazy thing is, for whatever reason, and I actually am not even 100% sure what derailed this, but the heat just went away, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking back to this when we were obviously going to do this segment, and I'm like, you know, it's not even like there was like a sudden controversial leave or anything like that.
Kind of like pinpoint or this was the thing.
He was like, he ended up kind of getting pushed. I don't want to say down is not fair, but kind of getting pushed towards the tag division and stuff like that. Yeah. Like it just didn't have the same pop, and I don't know if there was something backstage that they went over on the gimmick or whatever. I mean, I think the audience were over on it.
Yeah. Like, well, he was US champ. He was Intercontinental champ on it. I think for me, the biggest. I think if he would have had the body he's got now, when he was in WWE, his first run, he would 100% have been a world champion. Yeah, I think Vince at the time was a body guy. He was probably just like, you know what, I don't see you as big enough as being the champ. And obviously he mellowed on that over time. He made AJ the champ and that kind of stuff.
A lot of people were quite surprised at that, to be fair.
Yeah, so I think if he would have looked the way he looks now back then straight away he was
fucking jacked now.
Rocket. And I just think it was, you know, maybe Vince didn't, you know, soured on the character a little bit and didn't see him as a body guy and just kind of pushed him down the card a little bit. But
I mean, this pick is almost a twofer though, isn't it? Because you go, he came back in the Rumble, he looked fucking awesome, and you go, okay, we're gonna have a run, gonna have a fucking run here, and then he came back in the 21 Rumble, I think, and then didn't show up again for a while.
He was gone to like 22 or 23, whatever it was,
and then he comes back and you're like, oh nice, and then he's gonna be part of the Judgment Day and not really wrestle. And I'm not sure what's going on there. It's been released again, unfortunately, but I feel like there was an opportunity to put the belt on him now. And you know what, some people might even go, oh, he's a bit old, or the age of him is like, mate, he's in his 40s.
Biggest crime of Triple H since he took over is not booking John Cena and Carlito one more time on the final.
That should have been.
It's just a no-brainer.
It makes sense.
It's a no-brainer.
And it's like the certain little road trips on the Cena's last run or whatever.
We need to do a segment called Road Trips, and all the time Triple H messes up.
Right. But there's certain little pit stops, let's say, on the road to Cena's retirement, and two of them for me. And I think it's because of us watching Cena come up when he came up. Yeah. You know what I mean? The Carlito one, that match should have happened in this retirement run. And Brock Lesnar's probably not going to happen.
No.
Which is a shame, because it the FU, as it was at the time, was the answer to the F5.
Yeah.
Like, his whole finisher was an answer to the unstoppable force that was Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. And of course, I wish Kurt Angle could still go, because that's.
I mean, Kurt Angle would have been the final one. Like, I didn't bring him up because it's like, all right, look, I'm not expecting him to try and get in the ring now. I get that, but two people who we could have a match with, and they've released one, and the other one's controversially can't be on TV at the minute. I think it's still the case. I'm not.
It is a massive shame, but I mean, we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Carlito missed opportunity twice, as far as I'm concerned. He definitely should have held the belt at some point. And again, it's one of them. Maybe he'll be back, because he's still got time left. You look at like, he's was in comparable age to the likes of AJ and stuff like that.
Like 45. I think.
Yeah, so it's not unrealistic.
Yeah. Well, all I'm gonna say is Carlito not being world champ. That's not cool.
No, not cool at all.
Spit in the face. You know what I mean? Speaking of bad guys, in at number 3, Razor himself, Chico. That's meant to be my surf thing, but you can't see because the announce table's in the way. But yeah. Yeah, Razor Ramon, man. I think, obviously, Kevin Nash, Diesel went on to become a world champion, had that feud with Shawn Michaels, and I don't want to shit on Kevin Nash. Great career, really good guy. I think Razor was better. He had
I don't mean this in a disrespectful way either, but I think Kevin Nash would have been perfect as the muscle.
Well, yeah,
he was
that's what he got brought in. That's why he was Shawn's muscle.
So it to be the world champ doesn't make as much sense as Razor.
Yeah, like Razor, like they had this, and it's like the lost tape for me. It was a match I recorded on VHS when I was about 6 or 7. I don't know how old I was, and it was Scott Hall teaming up with Ric Flair.
Just for our younger listeners, a VHS.
So Scott Hall teaming up with Ric Flair to take on the team of Mr. Perfect and Macho Man. Right, I later went on to find out it was actually on a pay-per-view. It was like SummerSlam, whatever. But for me, it was like, where was this show? Because I couldn't find it, and I lost the tape. But like, I was like, he's in there with Flair, he's in there with Savage, Perfect. He's on the cusp of getting to the World Championship here. And it just didn't happen. No. And he had the like the ladder match with Shawn, and and it was just like, well, why did Diesel get it but not Razor?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Because he was part of that group, wasn't he? So you think Shawn wouldn't have had any objection to it?
Well, exactly.
I mean, it's Shawn, so it's hard to tell.
It depends what Shawn you had that day. But yeah, obviously him not getting that belt, I think ultimately led to him going, you know what, I'm going to go to WCW then. And Nash was like, I'll go with you. And then before you know it, the NWO was the thing, and then you nearly lost the company, Vince. Yeah. So yeah, all I'm saying is, if you would have put the strap on Scott, who knows what would have happened. But yeah, Razor, number 3 on this list,
Couldn't
I think.
Agree more. Yeah, and he's one of them for me that you go, oh, right, he wasn't
you
one.
Think you expect it almost, but he was not.
Crazy.
In at number 2...
Okay, Carl, here's another one very similar to Carlito in a sense, and you probably noticed I'm doing this with a few of mine because these are like when we were teens and we were watching WWE, and these are the people who were coming up at that time, right? And my pick here is Shelton Benjamin. Yeah. Now,
turns out there was some stopping him.
Apparently so. Now, like you and I both remember when he came in under Kurt Angle. What a way to sort of cut your teeth as well. Like, protege, I guess, under Kurt Angle with Charlie Haas as the world's greatest tag team. They're fantastic as a tag team, had a great tag title run. And then he went solo, and as daft as it sounds, he changed up his gimmick. had the fucking banger of a tune.
Ain't no stop.
And you're like, okay, I'm digging this. He's going to do great in a solo run. Mid-card wise, I do think he held the IC, correct me if I'm wrong.
He did, yep.
And it just feels like he was headed towards being a main event guy, you know. And then obviously we mix it up with the Gold Standard, and I think that potentially could have been where it was at.
I mean, you talk about gimmicks, you know what I mean, that make champions. Like the perfect champion, well, the Gold Standards, like, give him the fucking gold then.
Exactly.
You know? But
and I don't know, it just feels like there was an opportunity there that was never really capitalized on. And then similarly again, you know, like, because I think you've said to me in the past, so I'm kind of stealing it from you, but like, you think the Gold Standard is probably where it should have happened.
Yeah, I think so.
And they could have pulled the trigger. But even so, after the fact now, like, I know they were big on Bobby being the leader of the faction, but being involved in the hair business as it was at the time, he could have capitalized at that point.
That's a good shout, to be fair.
You know?
Yeah, I think obviously Bobby, as you say, was a leader. He overshadowed him a bit, but
yeah,
it's a travesty because you mentioned obviously he came in under the tutelage of Kurt Angle. He came through with Brock Lesnar. They were the Minnesota stretching crew, right? When you think about it, he's fucking team with Brock. He's under Kurt Angle, and yet this guy doesn't become world champ.
Everything suggests he could have. And I mean, look at the reaction, because people, I think there's an expectation sometimes behind the scenes that like people won't remember like him and Brock coming up, but like look at the reaction it got at the Rumble.
Well, exactly.
So people know.
People were like, oh yeah,
you know what I mean. And that could have been a good singles match that we just never got.
The only thing you could possibly say is Mike's skills were never on point, but they don't need to be, because
this is where I think
where's Heyman?
Business could have been the opportunity.
Yeah, but like
MVP being his mouthpiece was fine. I understand what they were doing. It's the typical faction thing. Bobby's the leader of the faction. He holds the gold. I get it, but at the same time, it's like he had the mouthpiece in MVP to cover where he wasn't quite as strong.
Yeah, imagine a manager though coming in and saying like he does his talking in the ring, but boom, doesn't need to cut a promo again. So
done.
Yeah. So for me, Gold Standard Shelton should have got it, but which means, Anthony, and there's a lot of names we could have put on this list. So honourable mentions, I guess, the likes of your Davey Boy Smiths, your Owen Harts, you know, fucking Shamrocks, whoever you want to throw out there. There's a lot of guys who could have got up to that level, but didn't. But for us, the number one on this list, no bias, the one and only William Regal.
100%.
I say before, I love you, Drew, but like how much we craved an English champion.
And to be honest, Drew, like, this isn't even just English. He's like our neck of the woods.
He's Blackpool,
like,
around the corner.
He's like, what, 20 minutes away?
Exactly.
Like, that's how close this guy is to our area. So,
although to be fair, where's closer to us, Preston or Blackpool? Because thingy's Preston, isn't he? So we need to do some geography. But either of those guys, Wade or
it's don't throw in any case.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, he's a Northern champion. Oh, could have been.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, William Regal, man, he is training the next generation, right? That's how good he is, right?
That's the thing.
Both from a mind standpoint and a ability standpoint.
It's mad, isn't it? Because I think everyone accepts quite readily that he has got a fantastic mind for the business, which is 100% true. I'm not arguing with that at all.
Yeah.
But you forget just how good he was as a character as well. No one played a villain better than this guy.
No. He was such a wily little snaky guy. You know what I mean? He had the comedy aspect when he was commissioner. You know, he was doing the stuff with like Buddy Jericho and that, and Tajiri, and then Eugene. But he had all these.
It's like that, things. Like the stuff with Eugene and Tajiri. They're ones where you go, it's a bit of an odd couple kind of pairing, and it could go either way. Yeah. But he sold them every time.
Every segment he was in, he made it into gold. Do you know what I mean? That's what you need. That's what you need as a champion. But as you say, he was a fantastic heel. And for me, and people make scoff when I say this, he could have been Gunther, pre-Gunther. And people are like, well, Gunther's fucking massive and Regal wasn't. It's like, well, Regal wasn't a small guy.
No.
But also, he could have just been that gentleman who, you know, actually conducts his business with his fucking fist, or his brass knucks in Regal's case. And it's like, that's what we could have got. And there was a point in time when we did have like this picture on here for the people watching, like where he had like the fucking robe on and like the long hair and stuff. And it was like, for me, that was the time I could have seen it happening. Cause
that's when didn't he have that really menacing music when he had the robe as well?
Ding, whatever. It was like,
it was very Regal.
If we're doing it based off music, fucking Snitsky's up there. Maybe even fucking Zach Gowen. You know what I mean?
Right, Snitsky, fucking hands down. That Zach Wilde-esque fucking music was just top notch. Like Have we done a segment where the music hits way harder than the fucking?
I think we have
character?
actually.
Like, because
I think
that is so
If we
up
have,
there.
I'll
No
link it.
offense to Snitsky,
Yeah.
but that music had like way more about it than it should have had.
Yeah.
Like for a guy coming in
No,
to play
it
the
did.
foil to Kane.
For a guy who punts babies, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Have a banger that slaps.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Regal. I just think he just had everything. You know what I mean? He had the ability in the ring. He was the best technician. He had the comedy. He had
we
the
all
mind
remember
for the business.
The funny / controversial stories about him just absolutely embarrassing Goldberg, let's say.
Well-
He didn't batter him, but he showed him up in the ring, didn't he? Something
Well, yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? I think, to be fair, that's on Goldberg. But yeah, he was a master at everything. And I just think I would have loved for him to get to the top. And don't get me wrong, he was a European champion, he was the Intercontinental champion. He definitely got the accolades.
Well, he got some
but
gold, but
I just think, man,
it's a similar one again, isn't it? You go, he was never world champ, really.
No, he's the one that got away
He
from me.
should've been,
I think ultimately, yeah, Regal should have been a champ. After the top.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
But we want to know, what do you think? Have we missed anyone off this list? Who do you think should have been a world champion in WWE? Let us know. If you're listening to this, then yeah, you can also comment on the pods. If you can't,
I think so.
Comment on Instagram or wherever we post this, and let us know there as well. And if you are watching us, hit the subscribe. We always say don't bother with the notification bell, but I don't know. You might want to know when we're talking shit.
We're all men. Just whatever you want to do.
Just do you.
We don't know how the
You do you,
YouTubers
guys. You do you. But yeah, again, big thanks to the audio listeners. Peak chart positions, I think, in Sweden, in a few other places lately. New Zealand, we're back in there. So yeah, big thanks to everyone listening. And yeah, we will catch you on the next one.